from the station working for you. This is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
It's Wednesday, September 16th, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
I have faith that the school will do the best they can to follow the rules and keep everybody safe.
Students in one of the state's largest school districts know when they'll head back to the classroom. This morning, the latest on the plan and how officials are preparing to keep your child safe.
It's not every day you get to walk in front of a John Deere combine. The concerns among farmers and homeowners here in Shelby County over a proposed solar plant project.
I think they would put something like that away from the neighborhood.
5G cell towers will soon be appearing in one local community. Why the plan has residents concerned. Plus, many students are learning from home and parents are worried they'll fall behind. This morning, we check in with one program helping students stay on track. And we do want to wish you a good morning from our team here on this Wednesday. I'm Lauren Casey, Raphael, and Todd Klassen joining me this morning. Raphael, it is a beautiful day. I hope you've stepped outside down there in Johnson County.
It is beautiful outside, Lauren. I even have I've loaded my Keurig with a hot chocolate K-cup already.
Oh man!
Because I don't want to get ahead of myself, but we're getting into that kind of weather pattern, Todd Klassen. It's rather cool outside.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have a bunch of days here, especially next week with temperatures that are going to be in the 40s. So you're exactly right. We're kind of making that transition from the summer-like temperatures into more fall-like mornings across central Indiana. Here's a live look from IMS. How good does the city look this morning with the clear skies, Salesforce Tower, One America building there, and temperatures that are on the cool side. We mentioned it. We're in the 40s in a lot of locations, 45 in Terre Haute, as well as Greenfield, 46 in Richmond. Indianapolis currently sitting at 53 degrees. Satellite radar picture is pretty quiet across the area, although a change from the past few days when it's been completely clear off to our west. You do notice this band of cloud cover that is off to our west. This will come in here throughout the day, first turning us partly cloudy, and then at times this afternoon we could be mostly cloudy, but we will remain dry. Not expecting any rain in the forecast today. Despite the cool start, today is going to be the warmest day of the week, as high temperatures will eventually, Lauren, top off right around 80 degrees.
All right, Todd, thank you. We are keeping a close eye on this traffic situation down here on the south side. Take a look at your screen. You're looking at I-465 at the Harding Street exit here to State Road 37. This is the off-ramp from westbound 465 getting onto Harding Street, and you can see traffic is at a standstill. We've had this disabled semi. You can see the FedEx truck there sitting on your screen. That's created some backups and delays as we do have a lane block down there on the ramp at this time. This is a spot we'll continue to monitor because it's backing up traffic all the way back to East Street exit in US 31. So give yourself that extra time if you're traveling on the south side this morning. Raphael?
Lauren, good morning to you as well again. And new this morning, the signs of opposition now going up in Shelby County. Farmers and homeowners raising concerns about the possibility of solar panels in places like the towns of Bengal and the city of Shelbyville, replacing prime farmland. Kyle Barlow is a fourth-generation farmer, owning 1,000 acres of corn and soybeans in Shelby County.
Farming isn't really a career, it's a way of life.
Kyle and dozens of his neighbors planted these signs on their properties in opposition to a potential industrial solar plant. They want to know what impact solar panels will have on their health, property values, and environment.
I want to know what the panels are made of, where they're made at. I want to know where they can be decommissioned. I'm not denouncing solar technology in certain places. Maybe land that's more barren.
The company behind this project is S-Power, which is partly owned by AES, which also owns Indianapolis Power and Light. WRTV Investigates obtained this document, which shows one landowner being offered at least $800 per buildable acre to place solar panels on their property for up to 35 years. Justin Parker and his two brothers operate 2,000 acres. He also believes S-Power needs to step up and speak out about their plan.
This is some productive ground here. We're looking at some of the prime agriculture farmland here in Shelby County.
Down the road, Jeff and Amanda Tennell. They tend to cattle and other crops on 3,000 acres.
This is my baby. This is my baby.
I have a right to know
what is going into the ground around my property.
And you want to know?
I want to know.
Combined, the Tennells, the Parkers, and the Barlows have nearly 300 years of farming in their history. Their crops set for harvest continue to depend on solar power. But it's the proposed solar project that's raising concerns. And this remains a developing story. Tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana, we'll hear from two county officials who will decide what happens next. Now, we reached out to S-Power, and they provided this statement to WRTV Investigates, saying in part, this particular project is in its infancy, and community outreach is an integral part of the development process whereby we present our projects to elected officials and all stakeholders and seek public input during the permitting process. The statement goes on to say we are committed to responsible development and operations and seeing renewable energy development as a catalyst for sustainable long-term community development, including tax revenue and jobs for the local economy. We'll have more on this story tomorrow right here at 6 a.m.
And Raphael, at 6:06 next week, residents on the west side of Indianapolis can weigh in on a plan to bring 5G towers to their community. People who live in Wayne Township are being told 5G cell towers will go where these signs are posted. 5 different towers are planned to go up in Westwood neighborhoods across Indianapolis, and they've been facing this issue.
I'm not too sure about the things that I've heard about this 5G towers. Like I said, there's nothing good that I've heard about it. But if I was to just go off of hearsay of what I know, what I've heard, I don't want it right here.
There's a public hearing scheduled at the City County building on September 22nd to give residents a chance to make their voices heard on that issue.
Good Morning Indiana is covering education this morning. After delaying in-class learning for months because of the pandemic, 2 big Indianapolis school districts plan to reopen their schools. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson, she's live with the key dates and the schools impacted on this issue. A big deal for many of these schools, impacting thousands of kids. Kelsey, fill us in on the latest information. Good morning to you.
Hey, good morning. So the dates that children are going to be going to school are sporadic, and of course this is going to remain a very fluid situation. So for IPS students, they'll begin a slow return to school in the matter of weeks. The first wave on Monday, October 5th, will only include pre-K through 3rd graders. The week of October 12th, which is scheduled to be fall break, all students will learn remotely. Then on Monday, October 19th, grades pre-K through 5th will return to class and learning 5 days a week, while grades 6 through 12 will be a hybrid model with students based on their last names attending classes in person twice a week and 3 days remotely. Superintendent ALEESIA Johnson says they will continue to monitor COVID cases closely.
We'll be flexible and responsive both to health data and then to what data we get from our community and our families in terms of ensuring we have a plan that's strong to support our kids in learning, whatever the model may be.
It's a similar situation just north of IPS School District for Washington Township schools, where the younger students will have the option to return to class on October 12th, and the older students having that same option on October 19th. Now, hybrid learning, where students go to school half the time and are at home half the time, that is a mandate given by the Marion County Health Department. So for those older kids, along with wearing masks for students and staff while they're physically in the school building. So for more information on these new policies and when they're going to get back into those schools, you can head over to WRTV.com. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Now let's get to the latest on the coronavirus pandemic and its continued impact here on our state. This morning, the state health department reporting 758 new cases of the coronavirus. That's just 3 more cases than what was reported on Monday and still hundreds less than what was reported over the weekend. However, the number of coronavirus deaths taking a substantial jump on Tuesday. State health officials reporting 20 COVID-related deaths. That's an increase of 18 compared to Monday.
Now let's take you to Delaware County, where Muncie Central High School is canceling football for the next 2 weeks. In a tweet, the district says the decision comes after a player tested positive for COVID-19. The school says 32 football players and 5 coaches who came in close contact with the students are now quarantining. This team is now scheduled to start playing again on October the 2nd.
So students are logging on for classes, and a lot of parents are worrying that they may fall behind on those major milestones. Coming up, I'll check in with one program that's helping those kids hit those important checkpoints from a very young age. Todd?
And Hurricane Sally making landfall here this morning, kind of right on the Alabama-Florida state line there, down along the Gulf Coast. You can see the heavy rainfall spreading to the north. We could really use some rain here in central Indiana. Unfortunately, we won't get any from Sally, but there's a cold front heading our way for tomorrow. We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team forecast. The time now is 6:10. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on WRTV.
The Rebound Indiana, our commitment here at WRTV to help families get through and beyond this pandemic. And with so many kids, Lauren, learning from home, no one wants them to fall behind. No one.
Yeah, so Raphael, let's talk about this Waterford Upstart program. It helps kids get ready for kindergarten. This morning, the families impacted can sign up for free for this fall program. Here's how.
His name is Elias.
Elias, E-L-I-A-S.
Say it slow.
Oh, no, that's perfect. Wow, you're already in kindergarten. You got the name spelling down. You're on top of it.
Elias Garola is an eager kindergartner in Pike Township. The district kicked off the school year virtually, and his dad, David, was thankful he already had some experience learning online.
Even using the computer, he's picked up. He's got the hand and eye coordination to move the mouse and the pointer across the screen.
That's because David enrolled Elias in the nonprofit Waterford Upstart program over the summer.
I wanted to make sure that he was still building upon his foundation.
Waterford.org provides the learning programs plus the device and hotspot internet at no charge to families who qualify.
Once COVID hit, our organization realized that we had a unique ability to help families that were going to be stuck inside their homes with their kids for an extended period of time.
Kim Fisher tells us that includes 625 Hoosier families from communities stretching all across the state, and the response to this help was overwhelming.
And so we worked with some of our philanthropic partners who gave us the funding to be able to reach children in 9 different states. What ended up happening is we had far more families that needed technology in the home. I think that's one of the things that COVID pointed out is the fact that we have a massive technology gap in this country. And I think it's something that school districts have known, but it's never been anything that's needed to be addressed because, you know, all the work was being done inside the school.
Families like the Garolas spent time 5 days a week doing reading and math.
The magic tells you how big it is.
He's learning how to read through the program because it's simple step by steps, and every day it builds upon the last day.
Building blocks Dad knows will help Elias put his best foot forward when he can walk into his kindergarten classroom.
Education is the key to a lot of success, and I want him to have a steady foundation where he can build upon each day.
As for Elias, he's excited and ready for the year ahead.
What are you most looking forward to this school year?
I don't know.
It's all new, right?
New friends.
New teachers.
New teachers.
All right, well, Waterford.org is enrolling families in their fall program right now. Again, this is free to families right here in the Hoosier State who qualify. So we posted a link to apply and more details for you on our website, WRTV.com/rebound.
A major $10 million settlement will now benefit former students of ITT Technical Institute. Attorney General Curtis Hill announced more than 1,300 former ITT students are eligible for this debt relief. The nationwide settlement is with Peaks Trust, which is a private loan program. On Tuesday, the Attorney General's office says that ITT Tech students were pressured into accepting loans from Peaks Interest with high interest rates. The school filed for bankruptcy and closed its campuses back in 2016. Time now to check your forecast. It is a great morning in central Indiana, brought to you by the one and only Todd Clausen.
Yeah, beautiful out there, Raphael. Cool and dry, and that's been a pretty good theme over the past couple days here across central Indiana. And look at this. This is rainfall totals for the entire month of September. So obviously, we're only about halfway through the month so far, but 2020 running as the driest so far for Indy on record, only 0.04 of an inch. The next one is just under 1/4 of an inch back in 1963. But look at this. Last year was pretty dry, too, as we saw just under 1/2 an inch of rain. So obviously, we need rainfall here across the area, and there's just simply not a lot in this forecast, unfortunately. Here is Sally making landfall right now, right near Mobile, Alabama, kind of right on the Alabama-Florida state line. This rain, though, it's going to kind of turn towards Atlanta and then eventually Charleston. We're not really going to get into it here in central Indiana, although we will see a little more in the way of cloud cover today than we have in the past few days, as these clouds are streaming towards central Indiana, but essentially they're going to just bring the clouds in and no rainfall for us. So we start off mostly sunny this morning, turning partly cloudy this afternoon, and then mostly cloudy later on this evening. And temperatures are on the cool side with the clear skies this morning. 45 in Greenfield, Connorsville at 48 degrees, 50 in Tipton as well as Peru, Greencastle 46, 44 right now in Tipton, running just a little bit warmer here in Indianapolis this morning at 53 degrees. But the jacket definitely needed if you're walking out the door anytime soon. Highs today, though, get up to right around 80 degrees in most locations. We'll just slide through here central Indiana for you. 82 in Indy, 81 in Brazil, and then about 82 in Bloomington, 81 the high temperature today in Columbus. So it's going to be a pretty calm day for us and the warmest that we have this week. This evening, if you have plans, you are just fine. Temperatures will fall from the 70s eventually into the 60s. Now, this evening, if you look at the top right-hand portion of your screen there, 6 o'clock tonight, you notice this broken line of a band of showers and clouds. This is a cold front that's going to be dropping into the state tonight. As it comes through overnight and tomorrow morning, it just does not have a whole lot of moisture with it. So as it comes through, there could be probably a sprinkle at best as we work our way into the day on Thursday. But essentially, all this front is going to do is reinforce some cooler temperatures. And you'll start to notice that tomorrow with highs once again right around 70 degrees. But as we go over to your 7-day planning forecast, look at these low temperatures Friday morning into the 40s, and then all the way through the middle of next week, low temperatures are going to be in the 40s. And this is in the city. Outlying areas could even be in the upper 30s a few of these mornings, but the afternoon hours, plenty of sunshine, very fall-like weather with highs in the upper 60s to low 70s. Lauren?
All right, Todd, we are keeping a close eye on the traffic situation right now down on the south side. This is our camera here at I-465 and Harding Street, the exit there to State Road 37. We had that stalled semi there, partially blocking the off-ramp, creating some delays heading back to US 31. Well, we still have the delays, and now we have right lane closures, and this is due to a vehicle striking a semi. No word if that was a semi in the backup or the one that was disabled there on the off-ramp. But this is creating some major delays, as you can see, for drivers on the south side of town. So give yourself that extra time. Be careful if you're using that off-ramp and stay out of those right lanes. We do want to go to a traffic alert now. We have this to pass along to Fisher's drivers this morning. So here's a look in Hamilton County. 126th Street will close east of Ford Drive by the end of the day today. Homes and businesses on Ford Road and Windsor Drive will be accessible from Lantern Road. This road work is part of the 37 Thrives project. This is part of the project that is expected to wrap up next month.
This morning, a security breach is putting the personal information of tens of thousands of veterans now at risk. The Department of Veteran Affairs says an unauthorized user accessed a site used for making health care payments. The initial investigation shows the unauthorized user tried to change information and divert payments somewhere else. It's not known who is responsible. The VA says as many as 46,000 veterans had their information exposed. You may recall that the president promised a payroll holiday tax, but this morning thousands of people are asking, where's the money? Coming up, why some companies are not electing to take part. You're watching Good Morning Indiana on WRTV.
Welcome back. The time right now is 6:24. Raphael, let's talk about what is trending at 6.
So I have a deal, or I had a deal really, for history buffs. So check this out, it's already sold, but had you known about it, you could have bought this thing. But so historical items from President Abraham Lincoln, the former president, have sold at auction, Lauren, for $81,000. They include a 2-inch lock of hair and a telegram that was smeared with his blood. Auctioneers say that Lincoln's hair was clipped during a post-mortem exam the day after he was assassinated. Dr. Lyman Beecher Todd, a cousin of First Lady Mary Todd Lincoln, had wrapped it in a War Department telegram from the night that he was shot.
I don't know if I'd want that.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
But if you're a history buff, right, you'd want to have it as part of your collection.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Maybe frame it.
But it's sold, so you can't have it.
Okay.
You can't have it, sorry.
Oh, too bad. Well, the head coach of the Center Point-Urbana Iowa High School football team calls his starting center an inspiration to everyone. Well, that's because senior James Peterson is legally blind. He was diagnosed with a retina disease when he was in the 3rd grade. But Peterson doesn't let that from stopping him from either playing the sport he loves or maintaining a perfect 4.0 GPA. Wow. He plans to attend Iowa State next year and major in computer engineering. Good for him.
Yeah, so from your inspiration there on the field to our inspirations here in Indianapolis, congratulations to the members of the Indianapolis Black Firefighters Association. They are our hometown heroes on this Wednesday. The members of IFD pass out hundreds of meals during the pandemic. We thank them for what they do every day on the front lines, both as firefighters as well as helping out those in the community. Todd, now time to check the forecast with you, and you have a great door in store for us.
Yeah, it's going to be beautiful today once again. It's the warmest day of the week despite the coolest temperatures here this morning. We're sitting in the 40s in many locations. 44, the cool spot in Terre Haute, 46 in Bloomington, 49 is the current temperatures. You make your way into the Muncie area. Highs today climbing up to right around 80 degrees for most of us. The one change you'll notice today, though, compared to the past couple days, just a little more in the way of cloud cover building in. But the past couple days, there hasn't been a cloud in the sky. So we go from mostly sunny this morning, Lauren, to partly cloudy later on this afternoon.
All right, Todd, thank you. So most of us would love some extra money in our pockets this fall, right? Heading into the holiday season. Well, that's what a payroll tax holiday promises. Working for you, John Matarese looks into why you may not see it so you don't waste your money.
There's been a lot of buzz about a payroll tax cut from now till the end of the year, which could mean an extra 6% of your hard-earned money back in your pocket. But it seems more and more companies are not participating. The president's executive order suspending the Social Security tax took effect September 1st. CNBC says if you earn $50,000 a year, you could see an extra $100 in each paycheck through December. Earn $30,000 a year, pocket another $75 per paycheck. But a growing number of companies, including Ford, GM, Chrysler, and many that use ADP for their payroll, are not yet participating. Yours may not either. And from the Doesn't That Stink file, the reason why many employers are opting out right now. The order suspends collection of the 6% Social Security tax, but you might not want to spend it. That's because it's only a tax deferral, not a tax cut. You will have to pay it back starting in January unless Congress forgives it. And that stinks. CNBC says at this point, it is just a short-term loan. Now, if Congress decides to forgive the tax break, you keep the money, you can be sure that more companies will participate. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And now here on Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday morning, let's take a look at your 6:30 news feed. One person is dead, another in critical condition after a shooting near downtown Indianapolis. This happened just before midnight on Marlowe Avenue near Oriental Street. Police believe this was a targeted shooting and that the public is not in danger.
It's a sign of the times. Almost everything is going a bit differently in 2020, including what's open on Thanksgiving Day. In a move that's meant to allow retail workers to spend the day with family, Simon properties will all be closed on Thanksgiving. Local Simon properties include Castleton Square Mall, the Fashion Mall at Keystone, and Circle Center Mall.
A well-known IndyCar driver is about to return. Sebastian Bourdais has signed with AJ Foyt Racing. Bourdais will debut the number 14 car at the Harvest Grand Prix doubleheader at IMS next month. Tony Kanaan has been driving the number 14 car. He's now looking for another ride because he wants to return to IndyCar next year after initially announcing that this would be his final full-time season.
And here's a health alert. A group of mosquitoes in Tippecanoe County has tested positive for West Nile virus. It is the 13th Indiana county where the virus has been found so far. Also, the state health department is warning about another serious disease spread by mosquitoes. Eastern equine encephalitis has been detected in northern Indiana. At least one person has contracted that virus so far. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana on this Wednesday. A confusing time for parents, Lauren and Todd, because you have to begin the day with a jacket, and then when the kids get off that school bus, and they may just want to have the t-shirt. So what to wear over the next couple of days will be the big topic of discussion as the weeks move along.
Yeah, around this time this morning, they're probably saying you need to grab the jacket, and the kids probably say they don't want them, but it's something you'll want as you head out to the bus stop, right, Todd?
Yeah, I think if you walk out the door and you have the short sleeves on, you'll probably turn around pretty quick and head back inside and grab that jacket, because you definitely need it here this morning. The sunglasses also needed if you're heading out on the roadways once the sun comes up in just about a half hour. That's our official sunrise. That's what you need to grab before you go this morning. And look at these temperatures across the area. 44 in Terre Haute, 46 in Bloomington, 49 in Muncie. A little warmer in Indy at 53 degrees. One of the reasons why we've had these cool mornings and then the pleasant afternoons is the skies have been clear, and that's why this morning we're down into the 40s. A little bit of a change, though, heading our way. You notice some of this cloud cover. It's going to stream into the state. So we're going to go from mostly sunny this morning to partly cloudy later on this afternoon. 71 degrees will be your noontime temperature, with high temperatures today topping off at 80 degrees. Today is going to be the warmest day of the week, Lauren, before cooler temperatures return starting tomorrow.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And let's take a look at that traffic alert down on the south side of town. We've been monitoring this here at I-465 near State Road 37 and the Harding Street exit. What we had here was a stalled semi on the off-ramp getting onto Harding Street from westbound I-465. That was partially blocking the off-ramp. And then a short time later, we had a crash involving a semi and a passenger vehicle. We know at least one vehicle there at the scene has been overturned. Two right lanes at least are blocked here in the westbound direction, as you can see. Police are on the scene, but traffic is moving at a crawl. It's backed up for a few miles there, so all the way past US 31. The delay starting all the way back at I-65. So plan ahead if you're traveling on the south side of town on 465. You may want to avoid this area, maybe take Southport Road or another street as a detour. We'll monitor this throughout the morning and keep you updated. Let's get to the latest now on the coronavirus pandemic and the continued impact it's having here on our state. This morning, State Health Department reporting 758 new coronavirus cases. That's just 3 more cases than were reported on Monday, and still hundreds of cases less than reported over the weekend. However, the number of coronavirus deaths taking a substantial jump on Tuesday. State health officials reporting 20 COVID-related deaths, an increase of 18 compared to Monday.
They are ready to reopen schools. 2 of the largest school districts in Indianapolis are making plans to begin in-person learning in just a matter of weeks. WRTV's Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning with the decision to get kids back in the classroom. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So both IPS and Washington Township schools are beginning the process of phasing students back into the classroom. That happening in just a few weeks. So for IPS students, the first wave will be on Monday, October 5th, and that's when pre-K through 3rd graders will go back. Now, the week of October 12th, which is scheduled to be fall break, all students will learn remotely. Then on Monday, October 19th, grades pre-K through 5th grade will return to in-classroom learning 5 days a week, while grades 6 through 12 will be on a hybrid model. And it's a similar situation just north of the IPS school district for Washington Township schools, where the younger students will have the option to return to the classroom on October 12th, and the older students having that hybrid option on October 19th. News Washington Township parents are happy about.
So right after fall break or shortly after fall break, they'll be starting, and we are really pleased. I feel like the board did a good job in trying to follow safety guidelines, but take the community's input into account. And I have faith that the school will do the best they can to follow the rules and keep everybody safe.
So hybrid learning, where students go to school half the time, is a mandate of the Marion County Public Health Department, which also mandates that all staff and students wear masks while they are physically at school. So now both IPS and Washington Township schools are still going to offer that virtual option if students still want to go 100% virtual and aren't comfortable yet getting back into the classroom. So for more information on these phases of going back into school for both school districts, head over to WRTV.com or the WRTV News app. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thanks for the update. Now we can tell you parents at another central Indiana school district, they're not happy with the current remote learning models. This was the scene on Tuesday outside of the Franklin Township Administration building. Some parents in that district held a rally saying that their kids are falling behind and they're missing out. A Franklin Township spokesperson declined an interview, but says officials have met with several families individually over the past few days. A reminder this morning, if your child is continuing with that e-learning, help is available, especially if you work during the day or you don't have internet capabilities. Community learning sites from the organization The Mind Trust are set up all across Indianapolis. Here's one at the Reset Center on the Far East Side, and they're working with students from 14 different schools. They're kindergartners through 8th graders with various schedules, learning levels, and requirements. The Reset Center says this service is critical for many of our families in this community. The center is always looking for more volunteers, more donations, and we have more information on how you can help them or how you can get help. Just visit WRTV.com.
So Lauren, there's still no word on when Big Ten football will return. A lot of people are guessing and talking about this after the University of Nebraska president was near a microphone and said this. Listen.
We're getting ready to announce a Husker Big Ten football tonight.
Oh, really? I heard that was happening. I didn't. I think there's a lot of anticipation about that. Good for you. Maybe that'll get off your plate.
Well, it never will, but it's a good move in the right direction.
So that's Nebraska's President Ted Carter. He was talking to the director of the National Strategic Research Institute before a news conference Tuesday morning. As you may recall, last month, university presidents voted to postpone fall sports. Now, they have been under intense pressure to reverse their decision. Carter later backtracked on his comments that went public.
I think that was picked up a little out of context. All I said is there's work going on, and I'm going to remain cautiously optimistic like everybody else, and we'll get to discovering when it's safe to play.
Another leader is weighing in. The University of Wisconsin's chancellor is also commenting publicly on this issue. Rebecca Blank says Big Ten football will stay on hold until there are answers to questions about several major concerns, including COVID testing, contact tracing, and possible long-term effects.
It is 6:37. An inspiring grassroots initiative is helping to address food inequalities here in Indianapolis through these community refrigerators. The Love Fridge Indy secures donated fridges, and it puts them in accessible places for people to either donate or take the free food. Hoosier native Steph Gray brought this mission here after seeing how successful it was in Chicago. The group hopes to have 10 fridges placed throughout Indianapolis by the Thanksgiving holiday. This first one was placed on Shelby Street in the Fountain Square neighborhood over the weekend, right outside the Southeast Community Services. The group is in need of donations now and volunteers, so if you'd like to help out, we have more information on our website, WRTV.com.
Good morning to Lebanon, Zionsville, as well as Franklin. And Halloween, as you know, is just right around the corner. And many parents are trying to figure out whether or not to participate in festivities this year because of COVID-19. So here's a handy tool just for you. State and local cities have not made any Halloween announcements yet, but a new website could help you determine what's best for you and your family. It includes an interactive, color-coded map showing COVID risk levels in every county in the country. Each color, it corresponds with recommended Halloween activities. So, for example, in green zones, trick-or-treating and neighborhood costume parties are considered safe. But in red zones, smaller and virtual gatherings are recommended to stay safe, like maybe a Zoom or a TikTok party. The site is backed by the Halloween Industry Association, which is a not-for-profit group. Find out where your community stands right now by going to our website, WRTV.com, and clicking on this story. Lauren?
Raphael, more people are using them now than ever before. Next, we try and cut through the confusion about those absentee ballots this election season and what you can expect if you try and vote by mail. It's 6:39. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's head back down to the south side at a mess here on your interstates. You're looking at westbound I-465 at Harding Street, State Road 37. 3 issues going on here now that's slowing down the commute. We had a disabled semi blocking part of the off-ramp. We also had a vehicle crash into a semi, that one of the vehicles there overturning. And now I'm learning about another issue, another crash. This one's a little farther back in the right shoulder. So the backup is stretching past Beech Grove in the westbound direction. So just avoid that spot if you can, or give yourself lots of extra time. Of course, we'll keep you updated. Well, we are less than 50 days away now from the November election, and a record number of Hoosiers plan to vote by mail due to the pandemic. Here in Marion County, the number of people requesting absentee ballots has already doubled from 2016. Election officials tell us that around 43,000 absentee ballot applications have already been requested this year, and the pandemic isn't the only reason for a surge in requests. Voters we talked to, some of them are concerned about the political back and forth about mail-in voting and an increasing lag time from the post office.
I anticipate a very large turnout for this presidential election, and I just don't want to stand in line with people that maybe won't wear a mask, or people that show up maybe ill, but they're determined to vote. I trust our local mail carrier. It's just what's coming out from Washington that concerns me.
So if you share Jill's concerns, you can turn in your mail-in ballot in person to your county's election board at any early voting site or on election day. Raphael?
So there's still, Lauren, a lot of confusion about who is eligible to vote by absentee ballot here in Indiana and how to do so. So here's the things that you need to know right now. Your own voter's guide here on Good Morning Indiana. To see if you qualify by visiting indianavoters.in.gov. That's the first step. There's a list of reasons, and if those don't apply to you, you can vote in person either early or on election day. Now, if you do qualify, you can request an absentee ballot from your county clerk's office. They'll mail you a ballot, then you can either mail it back or return it in person. You can track the process online to make sure that your vote counts. The deadline to request absentee balloting is, of course, October the 22nd, and it must be received before noon on election day. Now, here are some key dates to keep in mind. To vote in November, you must be registered by October the 5th. If you're returning your ballot by mail, the Postal Service says to give it at least a week, again, a week to arrive by noon on election day deadline. That vote needs to count, so it needs to get there by noon on election day. That means you should put it in the mail by the morning of October the 27th. Early in-person voting runs from October the 6th through November the 2nd. And of course, as you know, election day is November the 3rd. Now, this is a lot of information, so of course, we put it all together just for you online on our website, WRTV.com. After slowing to a crawl, the latest hurricane in the Gulf is finally on shore over land. The problem it's causing right now at a large portion of the South. Todd, give us the local forecast this morning.
You know, it's cool to start our day, but today's high temperature is going to be the warmest of the week as we climb up into the 80s. But a cold front comes through late tonight, early Thursday morning, and look what that does to our temperatures. It drops us below normal, not only for one day, not for 2 days, but at least for the next 5 to 6 days. We'll talk all about your extended forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Hurricane Sally now slamming the Gulf Coast near Gulf Shores, which, Lauren, as you know, is a popular vacation getaway for many Hoosier families.
Yeah, and that slow-moving hurricane grew into a Category 2 storm in the overnight hours while we were sleeping, and it could dump more than 2 feet of rain from Alabama over to Florida Panhandle area. ABC's Elwin Lopez is in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi now with the latest.
Slow-moving Sally trudging ashore.
Oh my God!
Forecasters warn the slow motion of this storm will bring historic life-threatening flash floods. Flood alerts stretching nearly 700 miles along the Gulf Coast. More than 10 feet of storm surge expected to slam low-lying areas between Biloxi and Pensacola, already hammering Florida. Wind gusts toppling trees, rain tearing docks apart. This barge crashing into a bridge, knocked loose by heavy winds. And in Alabama, floodwaters cut off roads, trapping people riding out the storm.
We literally have water coming in the windows and the door, and he's having to hold the door shut to keep it flowing open.
An angry gust knocking power out in Gulf Shores. And in just 24 hours, the slow pace of this storm could bring 4 months of rain.
I think everybody on the Gulf Coast just needs everybody's prayers because there's going to be a lot of damage.
Unlike Laura, we're not expecting Hurricane Sally to move through quickly. And the issue with that is that it will bring flash floods and life-threatening storm surge to coastal areas and perhaps affecting people for days to come. In Bay St. Louis, Elwin Lopez, ABC News.
And here is Sally currently on your radar picture. You can see the eye now making its way on landfall here as a Category 2 storm, but it's still only moving at about 3 miles per hour. So even when this was offshore, it was throwing all this rain here onto the Gulf Coast, and you could see the heavy rain continuing. And because it's slow moving, that's why they'll have the potential for all that flooding, unfortunately, here along the Gulf Coast. As far as where Sally is going, well, it's going to kind of make a right-hand turn over the course of the next couple days. Because I want to move just south of Atlanta, just as an area of low pressure, and then eventually off into South Carolina, north of Charleston. So it will not have an impact here in central Indiana, which is unfortunate. We could use some of the rain, not obviously as much as they're getting down along the Gulf Coast, but it's been a really dry month, over 1.5 inches below normal so far, with only 0.04 of an inch of rain reported at the airport in Indianapolis. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of rain in our future, as you'll see in your 7-day planning forecast in just a few minutes. How about these temperatures this morning? Chilly, 45 in Terre Haute, as well as Greenfield. Columbus at 45 degrees, as is Richmond, 50 up in Tipton. The good news is, with lots of sunshine this morning, we'll warm very quickly. We should be around 70 degrees by the noon hour. Then this afternoon, temperatures will be right around 80 degrees, with the skies turning partly cloudy. So there's a little more in the way of cloud cover in the forecast today compared to the past couple days, where we've had almost 100% sunshine. You see that cloud cover off to our southwest. That heads in here throughout the day, but it will be dry. However, with the clouds in place this afternoon and then into the overnight hours, being partly cloudy, we're not completely overcast, but it's enough to keep the temperatures up a little bit come tomorrow morning. Instead of the 40s, everybody should be in the 50s to start off your Thursday. There will be a cold front coming through tomorrow. Here we are at 8 a.m., so it comes through during the morning hours. There could be a sprinkler or two tomorrow morning, but it's nothing more than that, unfortunately, and most of us are completely dry. Even if you see that quick little passing shower or sprinkle, it's barely probably going to be enough to wet the ground. So that front essentially comes through dry tomorrow, with temperatures that'll be warming up into the low 70s. And then once that front goes through, look at your highs. Friday, 68 degrees, 70 on Saturday, only 73 on Sunday. And take a look at these low temperatures as we work our way throughout next week. We'll be in the mid-40s to start each and every day, and that's in the city. Outlying areas could be even cooler, but it's a dry stretch of weather and a bright stretch of weather here, Lauren, as we push towards the end of September.
Todd, thank you. Here's a look at that traffic snarl down on the south side, impacting westbound traffic on 465 at State Road 37. We had a disabled vehicle in the off-ramp there to Harding Street, and then we had a crash with a semi and a vehicle flipping, and another crash blocking a right shoulder. So we have several right lanes blocked at this hour, and it's creating a backup. So let's take a look at our traffic now map at this hour. The backup stretching all the way over to Emerson Avenue in the Beech Grove area. So if you're traveling westbound from Beech Grove to State Road 37 and the Harding Street exit, right now that's going to take you about 23 minutes. That's a spot that would usually take you less than 10 minutes, I would say. So plan ahead for that for your commute. You may want to reroute, use another way, take I-65 and I-70 around this spot down on the south side. Maybe use Southport Road as a detour, and this is a spot we will monitor throughout the morning, and of course we'll keep you updated. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It's going to be a great morning throughout central Indiana. Todd, your forecast is simply perfect today.
Yeah, you know, it's a beautiful day for us once again. A little warmer than the past couple days, but not by much. Up to 81 degrees this afternoon. We start mostly sunny, then turn it partly cloudy, but you'll kind of notice that smoky haze in the atmosphere once again today. 73 tomorrow as a cold front comes through. There could be a spot sprinkle, and then just lots of sunshine Friday through the weekend. It should be a beautiful stretch of weather with very cool mornings. Low temperatures going down into the 40s, and even some upper 30s possible in some outlying areas as we get into Saturday and Sunday morning. But we rebound nicely into the low to mid 70s in the afternoon. And then by Tuesday of next week, sunny skies and back up to near 80 degrees. Lauren.
Todd, thanks. And we'll be back here in 25 minutes and throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and of course those traffic updates. We'll continue to monitor the South Side issues. Have a great day.